Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the presentation of our research to inclusive teaching. We, Rüdiger Thiemann and I, Joachim Kranz, want to present the model of inclusive chemistry teaching, MIC. The question arises, how inclusive teaching using digital possibilities could look like in the future. The Museum of Modern Art in Berlin gives an answer, but we have the virulent problem of how inclusion and digitalization can work together in an integrative way. So we have analyzed the existing models for inclusive teaching, for example, the circles of inclusion, primary national strategy, or Frohn, Moser and Pech, Humboldt University of Berlin, a model for inclusive teaching, or third, Seitz and Kaiser 2017, with participation in the heart of the model. These existing models for inclusive teaching consider a lot of main aspects, but they offer nearly no practical guidance for planning lessons. So I would draw your attention to the difference between traditional and inclusive teaching. In traditional lessons, we have a closed lesson structure, so exactly one predefined objective or aim is targeted. The degree of support of the problem-solving process is low, and the consideration of the individual need can be described as marginally. In contrast, in inclusive teaching, we have an open teaching structure. We have a high degree of support of problem-solving processes, and the consideration of individual inclusive needs is high. Consequently, there's a paradigm shift that should be described in a model. And these are research questions. First, how to present a model of conceptual and educational requirements and aspects of problem solving for inclusive chemistry teaching. And second, how to apply and evaluate the model in a best practice scenario. The hypothesis, the conceptual and educational requirements and aspects of problem solving in an inclusive chemistry class can be captured in a multi-level model. And students who receive and use various supportive, also digital tools derived from the MIC model achieve individual solutions and results. The three aspects of the paradigm shift are arranged hierarchically and described by levels. That's our model of inclusive chemistry teaching. So we have three steps on the road to inclusive education. First level, subject-specific level. Second level, level of the individual. And third, level of problem solving. So MIC is easy to use, hierarchical, and I think it's a good idea to plan inclusive lessons with this model. The figure shows the complete model. You can realize the essential aspects of the levels, and we discuss these aspects in more detail on the next slides. So the first level, the subject-specific level, teachers can select subject areas and contents which are formulated in curricula by government or by school, and the teacher's options are to make further subject-related preliminary decisions, which includes the pre-selection of possible context, and to consider the equipment of the chemistry correction and the accessible spatial conditions. This level is also be found in traditional teaching. But new, the second level is looking at the individual taking decisions after diagnosis, which concern the various approaches. So the teacher's options are to analyze the individual learning status and progress, the physical limitations, learning speed, haptic or intellectual learning types, to boost the individual motivation through different approaches, points of contact that involve senses, and to enable self-evaluation through learning games and surveys, to deep and clarify models and model experiments through animations, and to contribute descriptions, explanations, and transfer examples through video tutorials, for example, perhaps produced by the learners themselves. And second part of the second level, to initiate experiments planned independently by the students, to create barrier-free experimental conditions with associated risk assessments, to select experimental setups, equipment and chemicals, and one of the main points, to consider the work on the common subject, so all students are working on one common subject. To create open learning environments, including cooperative methods, to perform a cultivated language-sensitive discourse about hypotheses, observations, and results, to create language aids, and last but not least, to initiate a sophisticated proactive classroom management in terms of accessibility to the subject rooms, to the equipment, chemicals, and learning aids. Level 3, the third level, has a high degree of support on the problem-solving process. The teacher's options are to formulate the problem issue, to analyze the degree of difficulty, to anticipate possible barriers, to generate problems that allow multiple solutions at different problem-solving strategies, and to create supporting strategies. So for the practical test, we designed a learning environment with 4 learning sequences, with real experiments, with an analog research book for the students, and with a digital support by an interactive textbook. Icons guide the students through the material, and the interactive icons are marked with an arrow. The heart and vehicle of the digital support is the multi-touch learning book. The illustration shows the architecture of the learning book, and you can see the vertical arrows that show the interactive branches. We have language support, exercises with gaming character, video clips, animations, additional tasks, additional information, all about 37 interactive branches. We use the design-based research approach for the evaluation. In the center of the graphic, you see the actual intervention. So we had project days with 6th, 7th grade classes from primary school, integrated secondary school, ISS, and high school. 7 classes, all about 165 students and 15 teachers. And we had the intervention with 4 learning sequences: exploration, problem solving, and transfer. And in the beginning, pre-tests for the teachers and students, and finally post-tests for the teachers and students, and competence tests. And in the experimental times, we had video observations. The results: the pre-post survey shows positive, significant changes for the students' self-assessment regarding the fire and flame knowledge. And we showed that even students with a low interest in natural science answered all tasks in the knowledge test at a very high level. The competency test, we had 10 tasks, and in the middle 8.5 were solved. The rate decreases from high school students to primary school students to ISS students. The difference are significant, and 155 out of 165 students passed the competence test. They got a certificate for the use of the gas burner. Results part 2. multi-touch learning book and the clickables. The students performed 8.4 clicks out of 37. The use of the clickables did not differ significantly for the different type of schools. So the interactive offer is accepted comparably well in the sum of the clicks. The gender aspect, both genders show no significant differences in the self-assessment of domain-specific knowledge, in the use of the interactive digital medium, and in the competence test. Interesting how the interactive offers, the video tutorials, are used equally across all school types, but the other interactive offers are used in a very school-specific way, so the learners from the ISF make greater use of the learning and language aids. The high school students are interested in the additional offers and informations, and the primary school students increasingly click on the exercises with gaming character. The respective school-specific differences are significant. It can be stated that the entirety of the investigated inclusive aspects of the learning environment, and especially of the multi-touch learning book, were positively assessed. The multi-touch learning book shows the potential as a platform for inclusive learning environments, and the MIC, we had a successful transfer into a practical inclusive learning environment, and the 3 steps of the MIC approach are manageable and practically implementable. Outlook: possible might be an extension into a model of inclusive science teaching, NIST, because of the largely identical strategies of knowledge acquisition in the science subjects. So thank you for your attention. All the best from Berlin.